The legislature and the governor this past year passed a tax plan, or past 2 years, passed tax bills and actually reducing our income taxes. So all of us are paying less in income tax this year than we were before. Obviously that's going to, the plan was that they proposed was to lower those taxes quickly on the front end, get some economic growth, and get the tax returns coming back in after a couple of years of growth. We finished last fiscal year in June with about $90 million more than was projected, which gave us a good beginning balance for this fiscal year. Now, some of that $90 million was one-time money. Now that the tax reductions have kicked in, we're seeing a drop in revenue this year and next year. So we're basically, the revenue estimating group that met 2 weeks ago projected a slight increase for next fiscal year. But for the meantime, we're having to watch the funds over the next 2 years. And what I'm keeping my eye on is really spring of 2015 and particularly April of 2015. Because at that point in time, we will have kind of spent down our reserve of what we have. And so we should see some signs of that economic growth. And again, at that point in time, the legislature is going to have to revise the plan in 2016 for the 2016 budget if need be. So we're watching that closely. So that's kind of where we are with the state budget. I want to talk a little bit about one of the other things that I get to do in my office, and I get to give money back to folks. I mean, that's actually a great thing for an elected official, is to be able to hand people money and as part of the job. So our unclaimed property process, we have over $260 million that belongs to Kansans. It could be a refund from an insurance company, or from a utility deposit, or from an apartment deposit. Could be when an insurance company changed from a mutual company over to a stock company. We've seen dividends like that. We've seen checks that are lost in the mail that never got cashed that come to us. And so that money, the business can't keep it. So by law, they have to turn it over to us. And so we want to get that money back in your hands so that you can decide to do with it what you want. We give away we return approximately $15 million a year in unclaimed money, but we get about $20 million a year. So we're kind of falling a little bit behind in terms of trying to get that money back. So we're looking at doing several things. And one of the things I did when I first came into office is I went to all 105 counties in the state, and we had an unclaimed property stop. One of the other things that I'm probably most proud of in terms of an accomplishment within the office is that we got the law changed so that we can share information between agencies in the state. About a third of our unclaimed property records, we have Social Security number. But the address is obviously bad, or there's an issue with the address. Well, we got the law changed so that we can take the Social Security number that we have, run it against the Department of Revenue's income tax records, and get the most current address that they have back tied to that Social Security number. So in case somebody maybe went to college, had a job, got a last paycheck, moved back home, the paycheck becomes unclaimed property, it comes to us, but they move back to their home county. Well, the Department of Revenue will have access to them because of their contact on paying taxes, but we would have lost address from the college address they had. So that's a way now that we're actually returning about 30% of our unclaimed property through this new law that just went into effect in 2011. One of the other things we did this year was working with the legislature and working with the Department of Administration, and we got the law changed so that now unpaid checks from the state to vendors or to individuals, or in some cases tax refunds that were being held because they hadn't been cashed by the individual, are now being turned over to the unclaimed property process. So we got about $8 million that came in September as the first run of that, and so there's several refund checks, tax refund checks, that we're now actually getting back in folks' hands so that we can get the money back to them. So that's one of the things that again, it's great for an elected official to be able to give people their money back and be able to talk about it. And I'm kind of I kind of like doing that. You know, making sure that we do our job and make sure we deliver on results there. So that's a positive thing out of our office.